I'm Channing, and today I'm going to talk about organic architecture. Organic architecture is a philosophy of architecture which promotes harmony between human habitation and also the natural world. This can be achieved through design approaches that is so well integrated with a site that buildings, furnishings, and surroundings become part of a unified, interrelated composition. So organic architecture actually refers to the architecture in nature itself. These both are complements each other, and the architecture extends the beauty of nature. There are a total of four philosophies of organic architecture, which are materials, site, individual, and environment. Case study I've chosen for organic architecture is Piracicaba House by Izzy Wanfield. It is a getaway house erected in the city of Piracicaba, Brazil. And of course, it is intended to serve as a meeting point for families whose members are all scattered across various cities around the state, which is Brazil. Why do I think this house can be categorized under organic architecture? Mainly is because it follows the four philosophies of organic architecture, which the first one is integral to materials. The details of the building were the materials themselves. The material used in Piracicaba House are white timber and plaster wall, which you can see in the picture over here, and timber decking, and also concrete vertical slab, which forms the facade for this house. These three materials are of course natural and all are very rich in texture. In terms of texture and the color, it kinda just blends with the landscape itself, and it gives the house its own style, and kinda just in an overall it looks very harmony and blends well with the landscape. Secondly, it is integral to site, which according to the philosophy of organic architecture, houses should be designed to rise up out of the site as its belonging. So houses should belong to the site instead of just built on top of the site. So this house, the position of the house is actually taken into account by the architect about the sloping contour of the land. The distribution of three floors arranged in perpendicular axis to overcome the land displacement problem very naturally and makes the garden accessible from any floor. So this house is built, although it's built on top of the sloping contour land, but it doesn't destroy the beauty of the land because it takes the sloping contour into account, and the architect himself just thought of this design, which is two linear boxes stacking on top of each other just so naturally overcome the problem of the land. And then the upper floor, which refers to the white block, is a volley that stretches perpendicularly to the contour of the land, of course, and that at one end cantilevers towards the street, which you can see on the facade, and on the other end is planted on the higher section of the land, which refers to this part of the house, which houses the bedrooms. So from this photo you can see this is the view of master bedroom facade. How clever the architect just managed to build this house so well blended with the landscape instead of just destroying the landscape to build this house on top. And on the picture over here, you can see how well actually the landscape and the buildings complement each other. The building just belongs to the site. And if this building, imagine this building is built on another site, it just lost its its feature and the uniqueness of this building, of this house. The third reason why this house falls under organic architecture is because it is integral to the individual, which means each building built to accommodate the lifestyle of the inhabitants and also the needs of the people. This place serves as a getaway house where one escapes for relaxation and vacation. It's very obvious that the surrounding of nature and the interior atmosphere and how it just blends with the landscape just managed to give you the feeling of relaxation, and of course it just feels so natural and it just feels so refreshing to be inside. And the fourth one will be integral to environment, which this building is built appropriately to climate and time. The architect himself, is actually quite well known as tropical modernist, which means that the buildings he built are all very modern tropical kind of building, and so do this house. It is able to adapt the tropical hot climate in Brazil through these two main points, which are ventilation, because a central pool can reduce hot air temperature, and the orientation of this house, which facing northwest, managed to provide bedrooms and social areas with best possible sunlight. And in overall, this house is just perfectly described organic architecture, in my opinion. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.